Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of Talkin Schmoedown. I am your host, Josh the Merc Raynor, right here on the Merc Movie Blog Network. We are here with episode number 59, and we're going to be talking about the Season 8 Schmoedown Awards. That's right. The awards just aired on Friday, February 4th, as you can see on the screen right there. And it was a decent show. I've been watching the Schmoedown pretty much since the beginning. I started with season 3, but have gone back and watched all of season 1 and 2. And when they started the awards, it was this fun thing to kind of really kind of give back to all the players, to give that recognition. And they were always amazing, And then COVID hit, and things went digital, and it just wasn't quite as good. But I gotta say, I'm gonna give my initial impressions of the show as a whole from this past weekend, and I was a little bored watching it. I appreciate them trying to just kind of get it done, right? It was an hour, an easy in and out hour, but it felt to me like it went by way too quick. It didn't have honestly, I could have just read everything and it wouldn't have, for the most part, there wasn't a lot that I needed to see. Some of the acceptance speeches were really good. As we go through, I'll talk about some of them. And the very beginning, the first 5 minutes, they were entertaining a bit. We had Mark Ellis there by himself, which was a little sad. I would have loved to have seen him there with somebody else, whether it be Christian or maybe Ken Knapsack, even like a Josh McCouga, just somebody to kind of banter back and forth with. And so he honestly, he didn't really get the chance to shine here. He didn't get this big monologue. They were like, instead of a monologue, we're going to show some clips of my best stuff or whatever. And then it was just a slideshow of Molly the Wonder Dog, which was adorable. All right. But honestly, I wish that there had been more. Maybe more stuff in between each announcement or each nominee and each winning announce. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the best, and it kind of bummed me. I sat there. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm just watching to find out who won. It didn't hold the entertainment value that I feel like it has in the past. So, and I think maybe some of that could have been remedied with another person. We could have gotten, like I said, that banter back and forth. But I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Hop on the Twitter at MovieBlog Merc, or if you're watching right now, you can hop into the comments and let me know there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the show overall? Do you agree with me? Do you think it kind of lacked something? Wasn't quite as entertaining as it has been in the past, or is this the way you would prefer the show, where it's just kind of cut and dry, real almost sterile, and just kind of doing their thing? I don't know. Let me know. So like I said, it was Ellis doing hosting duties. He did have a funny line after the slideshow aired, the Molly slideshow aired. He said something about my intern Thad, and he was like, he was a great commissioner, once upon a time. Obviously talking about Thad Williams, who, it's funny because now he is back with the Schmoedown. He is working with Skybound specifically. I talked about that on the last episode when they announced that. And so, yeah, that was a fun for me. That was really fun and entertaining to kind of get that little reference. It kind of pulled things back, back to a better nostalgic time, I suppose you could say. So that was I really like that. I just wish we had gotten more kind of funny quips like that. And just in general, more stuff. I felt like he was holding himself back a bit throughout the show. So, But I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna kind of talk about the winners for all of the categories. So let's get this going. We got Inner Geekdom Player of the Year is what they started off with. And we got Mike Kalinowski pulling out the win here. This was who I had voted for. I feel like, honestly, there's really no other option. No one did as much in the Inner Geekdom space as Mike did last year. Winning the belt, defending it 3 times. This guy really kind of cemented his place. At what people call the Rushmore, at least of the Inner Geekdom. He is like the GOAT of the Inner Geekdom. And so the fact that he did so incredibly well this season, I think is I mean, there again, no other choice. It had to be Mike, and I'm so glad it was. All right, then we had Babyface Player of the Year, and that is Nikki Dimalanta. A rookie this season. She did fantastic. She went almost undefeated throughout this season. Just such a wonderful run that she had going through that tournament, that back season tournament for Star Wars, and coming so close to taking out the Major Thomas Harper, but Dimmy made her stamp in the Schmoedown here, and I think we're gonna see big things from her. Her husband Andrew did some amazing stuff, took down the GOAT, Alex Damon. So now it's time. I think season 9 is going to be the year of Nikki Dimalanta. I think that's who we're going to be talking about throughout this season, is particularly when it comes to Star Wars. So I'm real excited to see what she does in season 9. All right, then we had heel. You can't have, if you're going to have baby faces, you got to have heels, right? And so heel of the year went to, of course, the best heel this year. But even if I don't like him, as a character, I got to respect the game, that he plays. And that is Chandra down to Pawnee. This dude, he turned it up a notch this season with everything that he did with Mike, all the stuff on social media, like even though some of it went a little bit too far, at times. It was incredible, the stuff that he was doing, trying to turn Swag against Winston in the early part of the season. He did such a good job, and I feel like he kind of upped his game this season from what we have seen in the past. And, I'm impressed, and we're gonna see. He had reached the top, and you know what they say: once you're at the top, there's only one place to go, and that's straight down. And that's what happened. So can he rally himself? Can he turn around this kind of bad season and make something better in season 9? I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, and it's gonna be tough, because he's going up against a tough opponent his first time around. I might as well say it now. They announce it later on in the show. They confirm it at least. It's going to be Chandra and Smets at this first pay-per-view on February 26th. The very first pay-per-view of the season, the first show of the season. We're going to be getting Chandra versus Kevin Smets, and I am so excited for this match. It's been a bit. Kevin dealt with a lot over the last year and some change, and I'm so happy to see him back, healthy, ready to go. He's got fire. We saw at the end of Spectacular, he came out, and he has this drive and this fire just burning, ready to come out and just burn the entire Inner Geekdom division to the ground, and it's gonna be fantastic. I'm so excited. All right, the next one I did not agree with one iota. That is Faction of the Year, and it went to the Finstock Exchange. I understand, Gucci had his dossier. He put together a great team. A lot of amazing rookies this year. You had obviously Griffey Nooms. You had King Khan. You had Ty Lieberman. There was a bunch of people. Brother Lomas. I think Rick the Rager Radis was on that team. A lot of people, a lot of great rookies that came through the Finstock Exchange. Problem, but for me, there were issues. If we're giving this as a faction as a whole, right? They didn't walk away with any titles. That's a big one. All right, they had the opportunities. Now Griffey, single-handedly, I think, is who got them this win. Without Griffey, and then Khan, as his tag team partner, just running through those tournaments, I honestly don't see them having this kind of status. They came close to winning the faction totals, the points, but they didn't. See, that's the thing. They lost in almost every aspect when it comes to the end game. And so, for me, I didn't see it. And Dagnino wasn't around a lot. And that was another problem that I had. It's like he was gone so often, which was kind of one of my arguments for him not getting Manager of the Year, which, spoiler alert, he does not get. But yeah, to me, it should have been Corruption. Now, that's just my opinion. That's who I voted for, of course. If you saw the title thumbnail for this video, I'm literally wearing a Corruption t-shirt. I love the team. Maybe not every single player on it, but I love the team as a whole. But I honestly believe that they really brought the best. Shannon did the absolute best job as a manager. She made the best plays throughout. We have two champions, two not just champions, but defending champions. All right. And that's not easy, to do. And look at Mike, who defended 3 times. You had Marisol defending. And I mean, come on. To me, that you have to look at those things. Running through, a couple tournaments, that's great. But Corruption won the points. Corruption won the titles. Defended the titles. I don't know. And Shannon was there. She was always there. So, but yeah, I think, and also, okay, so, Gucci won, it is what it is. But he talks way too damn much, man. And I know that's kind of his thing. But that acceptance speech, as even the guys on the rundown talked about this. Frankie Numbers even talked about this. How there were several moments where it's okay, he's gonna wrap it up, and then he keeps talking. Oh, he's gonna wrap it up, and then he keeps talking. And yeah, it should have been he should have been played off, play some music, cut his feed, and that's it. Because he talked a lot, and then he had the opportunity to come back later on, which I'll get to, and talk again. So it's just too much, guy, too much. Because half the time, don't understand what he's talking about. Okay, and speaking of the rundown, the next category was Podcast of the Year, and of course, that went to the rundown. I had voted for a certain point of view. Amazing network over there. But I knew it was going to go to the rundown. You know what I mean? They are that kind of pinnacle, They are kind of who most of these shows strive to be. They were my inspiration for starting Talkin Schmoedown in the first place. There would be no Talkin Schmoedown if there wasn't the rundown. I've been listening to it since the beginning with Aaron Turner and Brian Davids, and and then Frankie came on, and then Brad came on and everything. So they are the inspiration. And so I knew that with them being nominated, I knew they were going to be the ones to win it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give my vote to somebody else, because let's see what could happen here. It could be interesting. But no, they won, and it's fair. They put in the work, man. It's a fantastic show. Brad and Frank do a great job. Their banter back and forth is phenomenal. I love it. All right, so then we had upset of the year. Now, the one that I voted for did not win. I voted for Janine defeating Dan Murrow, because somebody takes out the GOAT. I mean, like that's big. When you have the underdog like Janine, who unfortunately was the underdog. I know a lot of people kind of undervalue Janine. I've been a fan of Janine since the beginning, and it's been a hard road watching her stumble as much as she has. Because I want her to succeed so much. When she started on this little run in the tournament, I was like, I would absolutely love to see her versus Marisol for the title. It would have been phenomenal. It would have been, for pun intended, spectacular. And it didn't happen, unfortunately. But she did something that not a lot of people get the chance to do, and that's take out Dan Murrow. So that was why I voted for her. But for Betty defeating Ben Bateman, that's who took this award. I gotta say, I'm not mad at this. For Betty, she talked a big game coming in, even before she got here. She talked a big game, talked about how she would take out Ben Bateman, and sure as shit, she did exactly what she said she was gonna do. And so I can't be mad at this. I can't be upset at the upset of the year being for Betty beating Ben Bateman, because it was fantastic. So congrats, Paige, and I will be keeping a close eye on your career, because I think you're gonna go places. I really do. So here's hoping, and mazel tov. All right, so next we got team of the year. My boys, Shazam, all the way. I couldn't believe this. Like I had not realized, first time winning this award. I was like, wait, really? Wow. Because they've like, Bibiani has been like my guy, like pretty much since he started. Like I always root for him. I always, like, when I did my first time doing fantasy draft this past season, and he was my number one pick, all the way. If I had been able to get Brendan Meyer, I would have, so I could have had Shazam as a team, but unfortunately I did not. But yes, Shazam winning this. They went undefeated this season. I think they're like 11-2, if I'm not mistaken. They won the belts, they defended the belts, and so I feel like, again, there was really no other option here. And congrats, guys. It's well deserved. I'm so happy for you. All right, then they did the Yodi Award. We all already knew who, they had already announced who this was going to be given to, and that was the amazing John the Outlaw Roca. So they ran this wonderful little video package, kind of talking about his career and everything, and it was beautiful. I loved it. And then John gave a nice speech, and I talked about how like Gucci went really long. I mean, Roca went longer, but like his speech made sense, and he knows how to talk. To use a word that John used to use all the time, he had the gravitas to pull off a long speech. And he got emotional during it, which made me get emotional. Anytime Roca gets emotional, it hits me, I don't know what it is about him. He's one of the guys who, so like I said earlier, I got into the Schmoedown at the beginning of season 3. It was the John Campea versus Dan Murrow match, because I was a movie talk watcher, and so like I knew who John Campea was, and obviously Christian and Mark were on the show, and they were talking about the Schmoedown, and I had never seen Screen Junkies. I didn't know movie fights or any of that stuff. And so I didn't know who Dan Murrell was. So I went there specifically to watch Campia. And I was like, this is really cool, And so I checked out, I kept watching. And then I saw this guy, John the Outlaw Roca. And so Campia is why I started following. Roca is why I continued following. He is what made me fall in love with the Schmoedown. His just intense passion for the game, his intense passion for movie knowledge, it was infectious, and it is sad to find out that he was leaving, because again, like I said, he's the reason that if it wasn't for John Roca, you wouldn't be listening to me talk here, because he's what made me fall in love with it. And maybe I would have fallen in love with it. I don't know, but I'm glad I don't have to know. But it saddens me, we got him for 7 seasons, I believe, because I think he came in during season 2, during the teams tournament. And it's heartbreaking to know that he's not going to be around anymore. I'm hoping that, he may not play, right? But maybe we'll get him on commentary or something like that. We'll see him. Maybe he'll be just around doing something. Maybe he'll manage a team. I don't know. But I would love to see him continue to be involved in some way, because he's been part of it for so long, and that it'd be sad if we never get to see him again. So, all right. So then we got comeback of the year, and I got this one. My girl Janine the Machine. Woo! That's right. She had a rough time over the last couple of years, but this year she was amazing. She played such a wonderful, wonderful season, and I hope that she can continue that trend, continue that path forward of this just amazing gameplay into season 9. Here's hoping. I want to see Janine with a title, whether it be a team's title, whether it be a singles title. I want to see it, and it hurts that we don't get that. So hopefully. We will get that in season 9. All right. So then they went on to the Star Wars Player of the Year. This one I felt like was a lock. And I know some people were like, well, okay, no, it's between Harper and Dimalanta. And so I was like, okay, I mean, I get that. He did a lot. He dethroned the GOAT. He defended the belt against him. So I get it. But Thomas Harper went undefeated and defended, and he has the same winning streak, 7 in a row, as Alex Damon. They are tied for the longest Star Wars winning streak. If Thomas Harper wins one more match, he outdoes that. Plus, he's the only Star Wars competitor to go completely undefeated for that long. Even Alex Damon, who has that streak, lost his very first match. So he never started undefeated. And so I don't know. To me, it felt like an easy pick. I'm sure there were others out there, and I heard some, fairly convincing arguments for Andrew. And if he had won, I would have been happy for him. Absolutely, he would have been deserving in his own right. But I'm glad that we saw Thomas Harper take this one. So, all right. Then we had the Feud of the year. Now, this one, I picked Frabetti versus Bateman. Now, I know a lot of people are like, that one wasn't that great. But to me, okay, it was all about the way the story was told throughout this feud. We had Paige coming in hot before she even got here. Like I talked about before, aiming for Ben Bateman the entire time, saying that she's going to take him out. So she had to work her way up. She finally gets to that match. And what does she do? She holds up to her promise to take out Ben Bateman. The whole thing could have just ended right there if she had lost, but she didn't. She beat him. And then the feud continued. She continued to go after Bateman. Even in the off season, she was doing it. After the season had ended, on social media, still going at him. At the there was like a concert at the Mint, I believe, the day after the spectacular, and she was ragging him during the show. And I'm like, this is a feud for the ages. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily see it or buy it, but I see it and I buy it, and I hope it continues. I want to see her get another match against him, take him out again. You know, I want to see it keep going. You know, or maybe he does beat her, and then we have to get that rubber match. You know, that could be awesome. It could be like that whole Roca Mance thing that we never got to see the third match to, which I would have loved to have seen that. But I don't know. I really wanted it to be Frabetti and Bateman, but it was not. So it was, however, Kalinowski versus Chandra, who was my second pick. You know, the stuff that they did was incredible. You know, Chandra, like I talked about, Chandra was on a whole nother level. You know, taking things onto social media, sometimes a bit too far. And just the kind of almost manic insanity that he was just putting out there, targeting Mike nonstop, never backing down, even though he was like, as far as status goes, the lesser. He kept going. But Mike always stood his ground. And Mike almost came off as a face throughout this whole thing. And that's the crazy part. Mike has been this heel for a while. And like a damn good one. You know, when he was an actual babyface, it didn't work. But when he turned heel, that's when the Mike Kalinowski that we know and love was able to shine. And then you get somebody like Chandra, who's like this uber heel on the levels of like a Andrew Guy was, how he was when it was like team action times. And so the fact that they got this feud going, I knew it was going to be, I knew that there was a good chance that it was going to be them, because I felt like a lot of people weren't seeing what I was seeing with the Frabetti and Bateman thing. And so I had a feeling that it would be Kalinowski, Chandra. But I don't know, man. I wish it had gone the other way, but I'm still happy. You know, it was and to see them do their acceptance speech together, it was fun because you could see them they're going back and forth a bit at each other, but they're having fun with it, you know, and they're kind of breaking character a little bit, and because you can tell that they're having a little bit of fun. You know, they had some like legit heat earlier in the season, but it seems like they've probably, at least for the most part, made up. I'm hoping, but yeah, I'm excited to see, because he's still gunning for him, but he has to get through Smets. Like I said, he's still gunning for Mike. If he can get there, man, I mean, it'll be a story for the ages. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, then we had Rookie of the Year, and this is exactly who I picked, Griffey Nooms. That's right. Unfortunately, though, he could not be there to accept. You know, he's working on stuff. He couldn't do an acceptance speech, unfortunately. So Gucci did it, and I was like, oh, come on. We just listened to him talk for way too long. Really didn't want to hear him talk again. Like, I almost wish that Khan had done it for him as his partner. You know, I mean, I get why Gucci did, since he's the manager, but part of me wishes it had been Khan instead, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, and not have to hear Gucci again. And because, like I said, they were teammates, so it would have made sense. It's not like it would have just been one of the random other people on the team. But I get it, but I just didn't really want to see Gucci again. All right, then we got the Schmoedown Media Award. This is for like all the other like fan-based after shows and podcasts centered around the Schmoedown. And this one went to a certain point of view. This is who I voted for, and I'm so glad they put out amazing content. If you haven't been watching POV, I highly, highly recommend you checking them out. Alicia 308 here says, I was bummed that Nooms wasn't able to be there too. You're right, Alicia. So bummed. Thank you for agreeing with me. It was a big bummer. I would have loved, and I guess there's rumors. I don't know if it's true or not. That he might not be playing this season. I don't know. I hope that's not true. I really hope it's not true, because he made such an impact. But if it, I would assume that if it is true, it has to do with work schedules. He's like a working actor. He does a lot of stuff, and so it would be a bummer if he's not there, especially because of just how damn well he did this season. I know that I feel like he would wind up with a belt in season 9 if he was here for the whole time. So here's hoping that Griffey Nooms is here. But back to certain point of view. They do amazing work. I highly recommend you guys checking them out. I everything that I've watched from them, I've absolutely loved. They have such a great camaraderie, the four of them. And I do not consider Molly Damon a guest, even if Christian does. So to me, she's a crew member, and that's just the way it is. All right. Let's see. Next, we've got the singles player of the year. And I felt like there was only one option here, and that's exactly who won. And that is Marisol Mckee. That's right. The current singles champion. She went undefeated this season. Defended the title. She beat Ethan Irwin to get this belt. And she defended, and here we are, with such an amazing competitor. She the first female competitor to win the singles belt. The first African American competitor to win the singles belt. She's setting records over here, breaking all the records, breaking the mold, I guess you could say. And she deserves it. I was so happy to see her take this. So hopefully she'll have a good solid run throughout season 9, maybe even the whole time. I guess we'll see. All right, we've got just a handful of them left. We've got moment of the year. Now, this one I had originally picked Marisol winning the belt for the first time there, because it was a huge moment. It was a historic moment for the Schmoedown. I already mentioned the reasons why. Unfortunately, that one did not win, but my second choice, as I say, like most of the ones that I did not get right went to my second choice. Because was for most of these only a couple of real options, and that was the return of Kevin Smets at Spectacular. Gone for so long, he went through so much with the cancer and everything, and he beat it. He smashed that cancer, and now he's back. And that pop at Spectacular, it was incredible. Just the way the crowd exploded was wonderful. And just to see him back up there in fighting form, ready to destroy, ready to take on Chandra and get back, rise himself back up through the ranks of the Inner Geekdom to get that title again. I mean, it's fantastic. And that's why I'm so happy that we're going to get Smets versus Chandra at this very first pay-per-view on February 26th. So we're gonna get to right away. We're gonna see whether or not Kevin Smets is in fighting form, and I hope so. I really, really do. It's been a while. Hopefully he was able to smash the ring rust as well. All right, we got 3 left. We got Manager of the Year. That went to Shannon Barney of Corruption. I'll be honest, I was genuinely worried that Gucci was going to get this. Genuinely worried. And I'm so glad he did not. Shannon deserves this 100%. Everything that she did from, managing to get Marisol back from the den, with this like this really surprising trade. I think she traded 2 picks for Marisol because it was during the free agency that she got picked up by the den, and she gave away 2 of her picks to get her. And look what happened. You got the reigning defending singles champ out of it. Her being there, she was never not there. Unlike Gucci, who was always gone. He's off doing whatever. Half the time people didn't know where he was or who, what he was doing. Half the time couldn't even find a shirt to wear. Shannon was always there for her players when they needed her. She managed her team to having 2 belts, defending those belts at the end of the season, and winning the faction race. So I mean, like, I don't understand how people could be like, yeah, man, Gucci is the pick. For what? What did he really do? He put together a decent team. That's what he did. And okay, they gave him faction of the year for that. But what did he actually do as a manager to deserve this? To me, not a lot. And that right there is why I think he did not win and why he did not deserve to win. All right. For the penultimate, we've got match of the year. And it had to go to Dimalanta versus Damon 1. The 51-50 early in the season. That's rare. That kind of thing doesn't happen. Usually it's the stuff later on that people remember. But this match happened way earlier in the season, and it stuck. These guys just battling it out. Just knuckles bloody. Going around, point for point in this insane Star Wars match. 51-50. It was incredible. I don't think I'll ever forget it. And I'm glad, so very glad, that they managed to get this win here. Because honestly, they both deserved some sort of recognition this season. I know Alex, his season kind of fell apart for him, but he was the GOAT for a reason, you know what I mean? And so I feel like, and then everything that Andrew was able to do, I think they deserved the recognition, and they got it. So I'm glad about that. And then we got the player of the year, the overall player of the year. I honestly thought we would get Griffey Nooms winning this award. That's who I voted for. And all my reasons were the same for why I voted for him for Rookie of the Year. Every single thing that he did, from winning the 2 tournaments, having the most KOs of everybody who was nominated, coming in, doing extremely well in the free-for-all. He accomplished a lot. The thing that I think prevented him from winning this was that he was not able to win either title. I think if he had won either of the 2 titles, whether it have been the singles or the teams, I think he actually would have gotten this. I really do. But he wasn't able to. Marisol Mckee got the overall player of the year, which I was not upset about in the slightest. I think that what she did this season was great. She didn't have as impressive of a team's go, but she still did well with her team's work, and her singles work was just incredible, as I already talked about when we talked about the singles player. So yeah, congratulations to Marisol, making history all year long. I'm so glad that she was able to get the recognition that she deserves. All right, so yeah, that was all of the awards. A lot of good stuff happening there, but again, it was short. It was kind of boring. I really wish Mark had somebody with him. Again, like I said, whether it had been like Christian or Ken Knapsack or Makuga, just somebody who he has a good rapport with, that he could bounce back and forth, banter with in between. Maybe take a little bit more time to kind of let the awards breathe a little bit, because it was just like, here's your winner. Okay, on to the next one. Like, there was like almost no time to breathe in between each award. But hopefully by next year for the awards, they'll be completely in studio, throughout the year, and they'll be able to do a full live event with a crowd and everything for the awards, and just have it be awesome. That's what I'm hoping for. But I guess we'll have to see what happens. There was a couple of other small things before I wrap up here. I watched the rundown that followed this. They went through all the same stuff that I just kind of went through, but then there were a couple other things that they kind of announced. One, it's officially been announced that Schmoedown Backstage has been canceled from the Schmoedown network, but it is apparently moving over to Ben Bateman's channel. So I'm assuming this will kind of just be like his own thing now, so he'll have his own Schmoedown podcast over on his channel. That will be Backstage, which is a bummer to me, but I'll still check it out, because if it's still going to be running, at least that will still be there. And then the Schmoedown rundown is adding a brand new co-host, none other than fellow FCL announcer Steph Sabra. She will be joining Brad and Frankie over on the rundown, which is fantastic. Her chemistry with Brad Gilmore when they commentate over on FCL is fantastic. So I'm excited to see what happens on the rundown with her there. And speaking of the FCL, I just saw earlier today there will be announcements coming soon about what's going to happen with season 2 of the FCL. I'm shocked that we haven't heard anything, seeing as it's already February. We've already got all these announcements about what's happening with the MTS, but nothing about the FCL. So hopefully it's good news. I mean, they did put out auditions, like the audition submissions were being accepted. So, I mean, it seems like they are going to be coming back, but who knows what the format will really be, if it'll still be digital or not. I'm assuming it probably will be, because since Christian's not really running that part of it, he's not the one who has to deal with it. So, and it will still allow a lot of those overseas competitors to still be able to compete, which will be nice. So, but yeah, that's it, guys. This has been episode 59 of Talkin Schmoedown. I again am your host, Josh the Merc Raynor, right here on, where is it? Right over here on the Merc with a Movie Blog network. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, click that little bell so that you always get notified when I drop a brand new video. And be sure to come back for my next episode. I don't know what it's going to be on yet, since we still got a few weeks before the season starts. The first pay-per-view, like I said, February 26th is when that will be. So my first episode that will be kind of breaking down matches won't be till the beginning of March. So I've got a few weeks left of off season. So we'll see. I'll come up with something to talk about. If any big breaking news obviously drops, we'll be chatting all about that. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, because we have been Talkin Schmoedown. Catch you guys next time.